okay? So you have these people talking about doing step-offs and all these other things to teach the dogs how to find turns. That's usually the worst thing you could possibly do because you're lying to your dog. You're separating a gap and having them search between a gap of uncrushed vegetation to search around, okay, and circle and learn bad behaviors while they're trying to find something that's never actually going to be there, okay? A track, once they lose source is always where they left it. It's right behind them. It doesn't go anywhere. It didn't get up and walk away, right? So as you saw the dogs tracking, they're tracking, okay? As soon as they got to the end, you saw immediately there was no sense moving ahead because they already know from this point to this point, there is no scent there. That's how fast they understand that. There is no scent anywhere in front of them, okay? They already clarified the scent ended right here. So when you see them come back, because these are advanced dogs, you saw the first thing they did is they came back to source and they went left to right, right to left. Because they know source, once they come back to source, they can connect to source again once they come back to the source that they left. Because at this point, the track only goes left to right, okay? Either goes left or either goes right. It never goes, once they lose source, it never goes straight again. Okay, so that's something that that the foundation work teaches them, that in the beginning stages, that the track is always where you left it. You can never lose source or lose a track if you come back to the direct source, because from that direct source, it's connected to that area, either left or right. That's it. Okay, so dogs that learn to do step-offs, learn to come out here, and actually by the time they realize they're off source, they're way out here, and now they have to search around. Okay, so when you establish something like a step-off, you do something like this, okay, and then you make a big gap in between that. You see how far that gap is? That's a lie to the dog, because in trial, there'll never be that distance of a gap in between source. So you're teaching them that there might be. So if they do lose source, if they keep looking for it, they may find it, because they know even if they're off source, all they gotta do is hunt around a little bit, and hopefully one day, one lucky strike they'll actually nose will actually indicate that scent again. But that's luck. And you see most of the dogs that find that, look how long it takes them to find that scent again. They're already out here free searching, spinning, doing all kinds of head movements, taking their bodies, moving in different directions, and by luck, they find it because they take their whole body and move it this way, and they don't even indicate anything that just happened here from source. They indicate what's out there, and they found it here, or what's out there, and they found it over there. That's a lie to the dogs, okay? Teach your dogs how to stay on source, how to identify source, and how to come back to source. Source never leaves. So again, a perfect example is you saw how fast these dogs indicate when they were off of this. Almost immediately. There was no need for them to search around because they already knew where it was. They said, oh, we lost it. We know where it is. Take one step back and it's right there. It's where we left it. Okay? And once they understand that concept, it's very rare or impossible for them to get lost. Okay? So there you just saw a dog that has years and years and years of experience in tracking, okay? And I made, at that point there where you saw me, where the mark is here, was the step off. You saw how hard he had to work back and forth to find that source again. And the only reason he found it is through luck. He didn't have any skill finding it. He found it completely through luck because his body went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And when he moved his whole body over it, it took up the entire gap of what I did as a step off, and that's how he found it. That means he only found the scent. He did not find anything leading to the scent. Okay, then once he found the scent, then the footsteps continued again. All right, so that's an experienced dog doing a step off. Now, if it was an inexperienced dog, or didn't have the experience like this dog has, there would have been a lot more trouble going on. There would have been a lot spinning, probably further out, only because this dog was experienced in tracking, that it understood that when it lost source, it had to at least stop and figure out where it went. Okay? Can they find step offs? Absolutely. But look at the process that it takes for them and the point loss that you're getting for teaching your dog that lie. Versus the dogs that you saw, as soon as they lost source, they came right back to source. At that point, an instant, it's a head check. The track at that point can only go left or right. So instant, if I was to make a track there, for them to come back to that source, and if there was another leg of that line, they would have immediately took it and followed it. Immediately. Okay, there wouldn't have been all of this guessing. Because what you just saw there was guessing. There was no skill involved with that. There was just pure guessing. They lost source, they didn't know where it was, and they're guessing where it is. My system teaches clarity of when you lose source, you know exactly where it is because you learned it by skill, not by guessing. Okay? It was skill that brought you back to source, and skill makes you follow source. That's the difference between a dog that understands clarity of source and one does not understand 100%, and the one that's trained in skill versus just trained in talent. Okay, here you see this dog is naturally talented tracking dog. There's a lot of dogs that are naturally talented hunters. Okay, regardless on what you do as far as teaching them the tracking principle, they'll eventually figure it out because they're just natural hunters. See, we have a dog that actually has skill in tracking, understands skill behaviors, and I put actually 2 step offs there for him. The first one, you see, he came back to source, he made 2 head checks, and then he followed source immediately. Okay. The second one, he didn't have to even leave source. He already followed it immediately because he already knew what direction it went into, and that was a bigger step off. Okay. Immediately he took it. This is a dog that understands skill, how to be connected to source. Even if you put a step off there, it makes no difference to them because when a dog comes here, and say if I make a step off here and go, okay, when he comes here and he comes back to source, okay, and he checks here, he can smell that scent from here and take it. That's just what he did. Okay? So when he's coming here and he gets that wind here, he knows the track goes that way. So that's why you see the second one didn't affect him at all. He just took it. Okay? That's a dog that understands the skill of source and how to manipulate and understand the clarity of coming back to source. And when they come back to source, they can always find where source goes. Okay, so you saw him come back and took it. Okay, so this is the process here, is the dogs that don't understand that skill, what they do is when they go out here and they overshoot it, okay, they start searching around this way, doing this momentum. It's very hard for them at that point because source is behind them. So because they're going side to side up here looking for it, it takes them longer to indicate it. Versus if they come back to source where they lost source and they went left to right, instantly they're going to find it. Okay, they're going to find it twice as fast or 3 times faster than dogs that go out here and then start doing this movement out here. Because again, source is behind them. So when they make this movement to the left, there's nothing indicating their nose this way. If they make this indication to the right, there's nothing indicating their nose this way. The only way you see the dogs that do it, that find it, they actually turn this way and turn in. And that's when they find it and follow it. Okay, but see how long it takes them to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth before they dictate that. And again, that's why I say it's by luck they find it, not by skill. This dog found it by skill, by understanding how to stay on source. When you lose the source, how to come back to source and take source. Okay, that's the difference between tracking with skill and tracking with natural hunt ability. When a dog learns to track with skill, everything he does has a purpose. When a dog learns to track with a hunt and has the desire to track and has the genetics, okay, yes, do they make excellent tracking dogs? Absolutely, but it's pure talent, okay? It's like the indication of say 2 athletes, okay? One you have that's naturally talented. The other one is not so talented, but someone took him and taught him all the proper skills. And then you have this athlete that no one did anything with, but he's just naturally talented. You put those 2 together, the one that understands and is clear and understands all the skills of the game is going to outmaneuver and beat the one that has the natural talent all day long, because all he has is raw talent. He doesn't have the skill. But if you gave that naturally talented athlete the same skills, he's unbeatable.